Hello, and a very warm welcome to Cognitive Key. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a tiny component that's, well, it's pretty much the unsung hero of all modern electronics. Most of us don't even know it exists, but it's absolutely everywhere. So let's dive right in.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever really thought about how your camera's flash works? I mean that instant, super bright burst of light. Your camera battery, yeah, it's strong, but it can't just dump all that energy in a split second. So what's the magic trick here? Well, the secret is that little hero we're here to talk about today, the capacitor.
All right, so what is a capacitor exactly? The simplest way to think about it is like a tiny, super fast, rechargeable battery. It slurps up energy and then, bam, it can release it all in an instant. Literally. It holds this energy in an electric field, and it's this ability to deliver a quick, powerful punch of energy that makes it so useful in our gadgets.
Okay, so when we talk about capacitors, they basically fall into two main families. You've got your fixed ones and your variable ones. It sounds simple, but trust me, this distinction is really important for understanding how they're used.
So, on one side, you have fixed capacitors. Their value is, well, fixed. It doesn't change. Then you have the variable capacitors, and these are the ones you can actually tune or adjust. Which one you'd use really just depends on the job, right? Do you need something rock solid and predictable, or do you need something that needs to be flexible?
Now let's zoom in on the bigger family first, the fixed capacitors. And even here, there's another fork in the road. We split them up based on whether they have a specific positive and negative side. You know, something we call polarity. First up, we've got polarized capacitors. Think of these as the heavy lifters of the capacitor world. They can store a lot of energy. But, and this is a big but, they have one golden rule. You have to connect them the right way around. Positive to positive, negative to negative. If you mess that up, well, let's just say things can get a bit explosive. Yeah, they can actually pop.
And a perfect example of a polarized capacitor is the electrolytic capacitor. Now, the secret sauce for any capacitor is something called the dielectric. That's just the insulating stuff between its internal plates. For these guys, it's an electrolyte. This stuff creates an unbelievably thin but super strong insulating layer, and that's the trick to how it crams so much energy inside.
And when I say a lot of energy, I am not kidding. Just look at that number. We're talking up to 500,000 microfarads. That is a massive amount of storage. It's precisely this huge capacity that makes them perfect for things like power supplies, where their job is to smooth out the electric current and keep things nice and steady. Okay, so moving on to the other side of the fixed capacitor family, we have the non-polarized ones. And just like the name says, these are way more chill. You can hook them up any which way in a circuit and they'll be perfectly happy, no drama.
One of the most common types you'll see everywhere is the ceramic capacitor. They're basically a little ceramic disc with a metal coating. Their superpower, packing a pretty decent amount of capacitance into a teeny tiny body. And they even come in different flavors. You've got Class 1 for when you need things to be super stable, and Class 2 for when you're all about that high efficiency.
Then we have mica capacitors. The construction is simple, really, just layers of metal with a layer of mica sandwiched in between. But their key feature is amazing. They have extremely low leakage. What that means is once you charge them up, they are brilliant at holding on to that charge without letting it trickle away. This makes them perfect for super precise jobs, like in timing circuits or high-end scientific gear.
All right, now for a capacitor that's a bit of a classic, but its design is just so clever and simple. I'm talking about the paper capacitor, and you can probably already guess how it's made.
Yep, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You take some sheets of paper, that's your dielectric, put them between some metal foil, and then you just roll the whole thing up, nice and tight into a cylinder. That's it. That simple little roll is your capacitor. Of course, it's then sealed up in wax or plastic to keep it safe. So, we've talked a lot about fixed capacitors, where the value is set in stone. But what if you actually need to change the capacitance? Well, for that, you need to meet their adaptable cousins, the variable capacitors. They have a totally different job to do, but it's just as important.
A variable capacitor is all about being adjustable. You can literally change its capacitance, usually just by turning a dial. And if you've ever used an old-school radio, you've used one. That tuning knob, that's connected to a variable capacitor. As you turn it, you're changing the capacitance, which changes the frequency the radio is listening to. That's how you hop from one station to the next.
All right, we've gone through a bunch of different types, right? From ceramic and paper to electrolytes. So let's take a step back now and put it all together so we can see the big picture.
So here's a little cheat sheet for you. Your electrolytic capacitors, those are the powerhouses for things like power supplies. Ceramic capacitors, they're the small, versatile guys you find everywhere. And mica capacitors, they're the specialists for those high-precision tasks. See, the material inside, the dielectric, really tells you what that capacitor was born to do.
From that camera flash we started with all the way to tuning a radio, it's pretty clear these little things play a massive role in our world. So, after all of this, what's the one crucial thing you should take away with you?
Okay, here are the key things to remember. 1. Capacitors are basically tiny energy batteries that charge and discharge super fast. 2. They come in two main types, fixed and variable. 3. The real magic is in the material inside, the dielectric. That's what gives each one its special properties. And finally, just remember they are essential and they are everywhere.
And there you have it, the humble but mighty capacitor, a tiny component with a whole lot of power. I really hope this explainer helped demystify them for you a little bit. If you found this useful, we'd love it if you'd like, share, and subscribe to Cognito Key for more deep dives like this. Thank you so much for joining me.